It really is you. I've heard stories. They can't all be true.
Hard to believe, but after nearly 30 years, it's over. One of the greatest action franchises in movie history has reached its final mission. Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt one last time, but does Mission Impossible Final Reckoning go out with a bang or just fizzle out? Hey everyone, welcome back to Cinecaliber. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more movie reviews, breakdowns, and everything in between. So we're going to get into a little bit of some background here for this movie. So Tom Cruise has pretty much become the poster child for blockbuster cinema. And honestly, credit where it's due. In an age where streaming is the new normal, Cruise has fought tooth and nail to keep the movie theater experience alive. And with this finale, he's once again gone all in. So what is the story this time around? Ethan Hunt and the IMF team are back at it again, and their mission, should they choose to accept it, is their most dangerous yet. They're up against a rogue AI known as the Entity. This thing isn't just playing with fire, it's rewriting the rules of global intelligence, hacking into defense systems, manipulating world leaders, and threatening the very concept of free will. So yeah, no pressure. As they race across continents, dodging enemies, betrayal, and mind-bending moral dilemmas, Ethan has to confront not just this digital threat, but the cost of the life he's chosen. The lines between friend and foe blur, and in true Mission Impossible fashion, the clock is always ticking. So, let's talk about the brains behind the chaos here. This film marks Christopher McQuarrie's fourth time in the director chair, after crushing it with Rogue Nation, Fallout, and Dead Reckoning Part 1. He also co-wrote the screenplay, continuing his tight collaboration with Tom Cruise. Fraser Taggart handles the cinematography, and editing once again is done by Eddie Hamilton, who clearly learned a thing or two from the last film, because the editing here feels way more polished. The music is handled by Max LaRouche, and Alfie Godfrey stepped in to modernize that classic Mission Impossible sound, and it slaps very well. The casting director, Mindy Marvin, brought back our faves while also tossing in some fresh faces. The whole creative team clearly went all out to craft a finale that feels like a culmination. So, without further ado, guys, let's talk about what was a hit here, what worked, the good. So what did this movie actually nail? Was first off was the action. There's no surprise there, but still, wow. There's a biplane sequence that's straight up jaw-dropping. And then there's a 6-minute underwater stunt that might just be one of the franchise's best ever set pieces. It's intense, it's slick, and above all, it's real. Tom Cruise doing his own stunts continues to be both impressive and terrifying. Tom Cruise himself also delivers a solid performance throughout, especially in one particular monologue where he convinces U.S. officials to let him on an aircraft. You really see layers of Ethan Hunt here. He's exhausted, determined, and willing to risk it all. He just gets it right with this role. And then, of course, technically speaking, the movie is a masterclass in sound design. The production value is some of the best, and of course the editing is just really some of the best as well. There is unlike the last film's awkward chase sequence, everything here feels tighter and more intentional. But that was everything that was a hit here, guys. Let's talk about what was a miss, the bad. The pacing really, like in the first act of the film, is pretty rough. The film tries to tie in past movies with a lot of flashbacks, which is pretty cool on paper, but it ends up slowing things down and makes it feel a bit bloated. And then we have the villains. Talk about underwhelming. The Entity is a cool concept, but with no physical presence, it just doesn't hit hard enough. Gabriel, who was set up to have this deep emotional tie to Ethan, ends up being pretty unforgettable. I was expecting more development, more stakes, but instead we got a generic baddie with vague motivations. The story also feels like it's juggling just way too much here. You've got Ethan's complex plans, the AI's global manipulation, US and Russian military politics, plus a rotating door of allies and enemies. It's a lot, and the film rarely gives you time to breathe and actually digest any of it. And then one of the biggest letdowns too was just the overall supporting cast. Haley Atwell was a standout in Dead Reckoning Part 1, but here she's just there. And after Elsa's sudden exit, it felt like she was supposed to be the new focal point, but instead she kind of fades into the background. And then you have Benji and Luther. They are longtime fan favorites. They barely get any meaningful moments in this film. They've earned more than just plot device status by now. And the new additions to the team? Flat. No depth, no development. They are just functional pawns in the narrative. It's a shame, especially in this finale, because character arcs should be coming full circle, not getting sidelined. But, the bottom line is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, a film of caliber. It delivers breathtaking stunts, top tier action, and technical brilliance that the franchise is known for. Tom Cruise once again proves why he's the king of cinematic spectacle. But a muddled story, clunky pacing, and weak character development hold it back from being the perfect send-off this series deserved. Still, if you've been along for the ride since day one, like I have, or even since Fallout, this movie gives you a fitting, if flawed, goodbye to Ethan Hunt. And I would rate it a final score of a 7.5 out of 10. Here's a little breakdown of that rating. So what it got right, again, was those action sequences. They're elite. The biplane and underwater scenes are great. They're pretty much flawless. They were executed well, and Tom Cruise's stunt work just elevates the film. You have the technical craftsmanship, the cinematography, the editing, the sound design is all top tier. Cruise's performance remains compelling and anchored by moments of real dramatic weight. And then the weaknesses are the pacing issues drag down the first act with an over-reliance on flashbacks. The antagonists are weak, especially the entity, which lacks a real presence, and Gabriel, who was underdeveloped despite being teased as important. Then there's just a narrative complexity, became a bit overwhelming, and too many political plot threads competing for attention in this film. And then, of course, just the underutilized characters. The supporting cast, Benji, Luther, and then Haley Atwell's character, Grace, kind of weakened the emotional impact. But overall, a technically strong, action-heavy blockbuster that stumbles on character development and storytelling. It's a solid but imperfect finale. And a 7.5 captures that well. It's above average, but just shy of greatness. But hey, guys, that's just my take. What did you think of Final Reckoning if you have seen it? Did it give you the closure you were hoping for, or were you left wanting more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next review. Until then, thanks for watching, and remember your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep loving movies. I'll catch you next time. This is Jake from Cinecaliber.